Good morning. Good morning. Three on your screen this morning, everybody. I'm Ann Rossley. I'm with Baird and Warner. On the bottom of the screen is Kyle.Harvey. You see both of us every week. This week, we're lucky to have with us Carol Ann Bozarth from My Key Mortgage, who's going to be talking to us in a little while about mortgages. So much is going on in the mortgage world, and we're lucky to have her here today to give us the lowdown. But right now, we're going to say goodbye, Carol Ann. We'll see you in just a moment. And we're going to do our typical thing.
Catching up on the stats.
I know. We haven't gotten together for so long, and it's time to go over stats. I've got them now through August. So here we go. First, we're going to talk single-family homes. 100 homes closed in the month of August. Not as many as some months, but certainly more than last year. And I think you're going to see this pattern throughout our stats today. 73 homes under contract, 242 homes for sale. That is the smallest August in certainly the last 5 years. Inventory continues to be the song of the day, la, la, la. There's been a drop off in foot traffic, so it does amount to 3.1 months worth of inventory. The median sales price is $1,330,000. That's dropped just a smidge. And then for grins, I wanted to see how many showings per listing. And in the month of August, each property got on average 3.7 showings. And on average, it took 9 showings to get a contract. All right, let's zip over to attached. And as the world knows, attached means condos, co-ops, and townhomes. 933 closed in the month of August. That is down from previous months. But okay, so I got to go back here just a little bit. You see the highs. You see that it's very typical. We hit our high in March, April, and then we start to go down, right? And 933 is the lowest August, but not horrifically off from the last 2 years, right?
No, it's not. Well, it is quite a bit off. I mean, that's a drop.
That's a drop.
It's a drop.
I'm trying to be optimistic here, but we have lots of optimistic stuff to talk about, so I'll just plow on. Okay, under contract, 707. 2303 condos for sale, also low like single-family homes. You can see that the record high for any month was 7,041 during COVID. And then we have a 2.8 month supply of condos on the market, and 437,000 median sales prices are all-time high.
Remember when we were stuck at 400,000? It seems so long ago, and yet
I know. For months and months, it was 400,000. Yes, and we've broken through the barrier.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fun to see. Okay, attached sales January through August, 7,311. That's down just 1.5% from last year, which was down, of course, we know, 29% from the year before. But look at homes. The number of homes is actually up, and this is homes closed. So that is a very optimistic sign. Foot traffic is down. Now, this is July. So foot traffic is down. I think we're going to see it below 144 in August. That doesn't surprise me, and it doesn't scare me, because August is, July, August, it's typically down versus March, April.
Agreed.
Okay. Carol Ann's going to get into all of this, but 6.35 was, as of Friday, the mortgage amount average from Freddie Mac. That is the low for the last year, and it's in fact the lowest for the last 18 months. The Fed's going to meet in September. We expect a small cut, so we think they're going to continue to decline. So that's good news for everybody. The median rent now is $2,250. That's up versus the previous year, down a little bit from last month. But here are the numbers. The average rent for a 1-bedroom, $2,288, 2-bedroom, $2,938, 3-bedroom, $3,819. And you can see the second column is how it compares to the last month. The last column is how it compares to the last year. Look at the neighborhoods. In the Loop, basically 3,404 to rent an apartment. In Uptown, that's your value neighborhood at $1,875. Because our rents went down a bit, we actually lost. We were number 10 last month. Now we're number 11 in the country in terms of how much it costs to rent a unit. And that, folks, is that.
That's a lot
So
of
what do you think of that? What, do you have a big takeaway?
Well, first of all, August, everybody, we lost a week because of the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah.
Everybody sit on their hands. So it's like it's a week short this past month.
Yeah.
It didn't show up. It will show up also, to your point, in the showing time index.
Yeah.
But it's the end of it's people going back to school. It's taking kids to college. It's all sorts of things that make August a really difficult month for real estate, which means none of us are surprised by this data. I am really, though, surprised by traffic not picking up the first 2 weeks, because we're now 2 weeks into September, and it's quite quiet.
It is quiet, although I have to tell you, again, this is anecdotally.
Yeah.
I have a buyer and we can't find what she wants. The inventory's not there. We're looking for a duplex in Lincoln Park and we want to keep it under $1 million. And everything is selling in that $700,000 to $1 million range within a week. And they're selling over list price and we're just having a devil of a time. On the other hand, I've got a couple other listings that just are not getting traffic. So,
it's really interesting. I've got buyers who are really picky about what they're looking for, and I my experience as a buyer, where
oh, sorry guys, my dogs are.
Where I made my, I got a condo box, but I made it special. And, people sort of want these fantastic things, and really you got to sometimes make it what you want. That a box is a box. You make it great. And yeah, I get it. You don't want to pay to do the things that would make it really fantastic, but then you price it. You offer a lower cost. I don't know. I get it, but at the same time, it's not going to appear. People aren't going to give up their homes. They're really in a position where they're just sitting on their homes.
And that being said, we have two things going on. Mm-hmm. On one hand, we have the election where people tend to sit on the sidelines, but you and I both know that historically, no matter who wins, prices go up. No matter who wins, sales go up.
Right.
So you've got that at play. And then you've got the other thing at play, which Carol Ann's going to come in and talk about now, which is interest rates are going down. People should be getting back in the market. So this is my recommendation for everybody watching. Get in now, because a month from now, if rates are a half a point lower, the world is going to come out. There'll be inventory, there'll be buyers and sellers, and it's going to get very busy. So
I'm worried that there's not going to be inventory.
Oh, and right, but more buyers, and then we're
more buyers, but no inventory.
Yeah. So with that, let's bring Carol Ann on.
Here she comes.
Here she is. Carol Ann Bozarth, My Key Mortgage. She's our go-to gal. Okay. So you've been very busy lately, right?
I have been very busy. Buyers, they have not left the market. So I would say that, inventory is obviously still the number one problem.
Are you writing a lot of pre-approvals for multiple offers?
Yes. This weekend, I had a client. I mean, there's still some nutty stuff going on in the suburbs. So I work in the city, and then I also work in the northern suburbs. I work in the near west suburbs. Oak Park is still very competitive with these single family houses around, between 700,000 and 800,000. It's just like they just get gobbled up in a day. Same with Wilmette, that area. $60,000 over list, really? Cash with the option to get a mortgage, and the listing agent was like, "Well, we'll review these on Tuesday." It's like, yes. So that is definitely still going on. But I would say the good news, the bright side, you showed the rates, and I finally have good news to talk about on rates. And I'm actually going back to clients that were really tight in their ratios and trying to stay within a budget. And I'm like making the phone calls of, hey, I looked at your file today and I ran the rate and it's almost 1% lower. You can afford, more, you were not happy with the price point that you were in, as far as affordability. So having lots of those good conversations. I'm also having conversations with clients, some new clients that I'm getting that are sitting on that low interest rate, 3%, but they're busting at the seams and they've been, sacrificing, staying in their condos when they really were ready a year or 2 years ago to get into that single family house. And, just psychologically, 6% versus 7.75, they're ready to move now. So they're listing their places and they're going to get into the market. And I also feel like same with the move up buyers in the suburbs. So the smaller houses where those families were sitting on those low interest rates and they need more room. So I do feel like as these rates continue to come down and, like you said, we're expecting hopefully, I don't know if it's going to happen instantly when the Fed meets next week. We don't know, right? We know that they're likely going to drop the rate. Is it going to be a quarter? Is it going to be 50, as far as basis points? But, and what the Fed does not directly correlate with our mortgage rates. Okay. So sometimes it goes inversion, sometimes, so we don't really know, but the good news is that rates are the lowest they've been in a while. And so from that point of view, there is just more affordability. There's more willingness to look at moving and listing houses. And that's all good news because we've all been living this inventory shortage for a little bit too long now. It's old news.
Yeah, I have to interrupt quickly. Is Rufus scratching? Do you guys hear that scratch on the volume?
I do.
Rufus
Maybe
is
it's just a problem with our system. So, okay. So one of the things we talked about, and whether we get into this now or get into it in a couple minutes, as everybody knows, August 17th, almost 1 month ago, we switched to the buyer being responsible for paying for the compensation of their broker. And obviously the world has not come to an end, but you have some boots on the ground experience with helping buyers in this environment where it's a multiple offer situation. You want to talk about that now or?
Sure. So as we all know, this issue of the buyer broker commission is now just another term, right? So when you're writing up an offer, just like you have your price, just like you have your closing date, you have your earnest money. The buyer broker commission is another term that you get to play with, you get to use when you're writing up your offer. Now, as we also know, with the changes in the industry, most sellers are being coached by their agents that although this has changed, you should anticipate that most offers are going to come in with the buyer asking you to pay the buyer broker commission. So we're not offering it as a seller. We're not publishing it. We're not putting it out there. However, don't be surprised if you get 4 offers and all the offers are asking for you to still pay the buyer broker commission. It's built in, if you will, as part of the offer. So, and I see a lot of that, and I'm sure you guys do as well. Most buyers are still requesting that the seller pay it, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a story where I had a client who was making an offer on a townhome that was in the PLN, so in the private listing, and they submitted their offer, the initial offer, and full price offer, requesting that the seller pay the 2.5 commission. And then lo and behold, another offer came in, shocker. And the other offer, they did not ask for the seller to pay for the buyer broker commission. So the listing agent came back to my agent partner and said, well, here's what you're up against. And so my client, they called me kind of in a panic on a Sunday, like, here's where we're at. We best in finals due at 5:00. And my client had a certain amount of money. That was like her pool of money. She was going to put 20% down, and that's really kind of all she had. But she really wanted this townhouse. So I said,
so the examples at the top of the page here.
correct.
For those people who like to follow along on numbers, you'll see the price at $389,900 and top left 20% down. So
right. And so we're essentially talking about, I'm just going to round up and say 400,000. I'm going to, essentially it's about a $10,000, 2.5% is about $10,000. And she's thinking, well, I can't pay my agent. I don't have the extra $10,000. So I'm going to lose out. No, let's calm down. Okay. Let's walk through this. So in this scenario, as you can see, her monthly payment in the top example was $2,804. I said, okay, now I know you want to put 20% down. And, of course, the other thing was like, well, Carol Ann, I don't want to have to pay PMI. It's so expensive. It's, I'm going to have to pay it forever. I said, okay, so this is the real scenario. So I take in this situation, the agent's commission was 3%. I said, let's take that 3% out of this down payment money and look at what what it does to your payment. Okay. Your mortgage insurance. Now, granted, she had very good credit, which mortgage insurance is tied heavily to the credit score. So the higher credit score that you have, the lower your mortgage insurance is going to be because you're less of a risk, right? So $24 a month, $24 to $27 a month for her mortgage insurance.
Which you see in the second column of the bottom right scenario.
Correct.
24, 27, right?
Right. And then, of course, she's borrowing a little bit more. So her principal and interest went up about, $70. So in total, her monthly payment went up $96. And so that she could swing, that she could, and then when I explained to her that the mortgage insurance, not only is it, obviously you can see here, she was shocked to see $24. She said, I just assumed it was hundreds of dollars a month. And I said, it doesn't stay with you for the life of the loan. I said, as soon as you do have to keep the mortgage insurance for 1 year, but assuming in 1 year that you're at 20%, because look, she was already putting 17% down, most likely it's going to appreciate 3% alone in 1 year. You get another appraisal done. Now, if you've got that 3% increase in value, you are at 20%. You get the mortgage insurance dropped. So she was ecstatic. The agent was ecstatic. She went under contract. So this is it.
So she won the multiple offer because of the way you structured this.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And she was happy. The agent was happy. Everybody was happy. And I think in this changing times, we just have to be creative. We have to help our clients see, what is it that is going to help them, get the deal. And I think the other thing too is, when clients are signing the buyer broker agreement, they don't have a property in mind. So it's abstract, right? They're like, well, yeah, I'm willing to sign this as long as the seller is going to pay. And then they've got that beautiful townhouse that they can picture themselves in. And they have a loan officer who's helping them to see this. And, it was a win. And I think that's awesome. Where we need to continue working together, as partners with our agents and our clients to help them in this new landscape.
Well, you make a very good point. Or we've made a good point over this, that it is likely that interest rates in the nearer term will start to go down and the market will heat up. And we're having to have these conversations with our buyer clients that, this new day, and they sign up for representation and compensation for the representation. We have to be really clear that, especially in a hot seller's market, they may have to waive certain things, like they've waived other things. Some people have waived an inspection. Some people have waived,
Right.
That that this could come down to them, but we have solutions is the point that
Right.
we're making.
And I had, another scenario where another very competitive condo, and the client went in and they asked for 1.5. They asked the seller to pay 1.5 of the 2.5%, and they were going to pay the 1% on their own. They thought this is a good strategic, kind of way to make their offer stand out. And ironically, the seller, the listing agent came back and said, the seller's really not too keen on paying any of the buyer broker. So it wasn't about price, right? We could have offered more money, whatever. So again, in that situation, I walked the client through it. And again, we also looked at what other source of, they were making a non-contingent offer. So they owned a home already, and most of their assets were tied up in their house, right? So they didn't have a lot of liquid cash. And I said, okay, but look, you have this retirement account over here. Now, again, this was a Sunday, and their financial advisor wasn't available, but I said, a lot of people can and do take a loan from their 401k. And it's essentially borrowing money from yourself. And I said, you can talk to your financial advisor about this. For purposes of a down payment on a primary residence, you can typically do this without any penalties. So again, that's another way in this situation when somebody's trying to make a non-contingent offer, they haven't sold their house yet. And so, yeah. Yeah. So, and then the other last thing that I'll say about that is, it's a lot easier for me as the lender to have these conversations. One, you guys as agents, you're not in all of their money, right? You don't understand it. And it's also easier for me to talk about how my agent partner is going to get paid sometimes than the agent, right? So I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. It's very, having a lender on your team that can help you with this, especially in the nuances of this time, right? Where having these conversations are sometimes, it's new for everybody. So it's a little bit awkward.
Yep.
So I found that my agent partner found that very helpful.
Excellent.
No, and solutions and finding solutions and bringing them to you people, you buyers and sellers, is what we promise to do here. I mean, these are new days. We're about to have we may have a really active market, and solutions like these will be very helpful. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were talking too about this program for not first-time buyers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do not.
Program. This is great.
Yes.
The money grab.
So, and not everybody, certain lenders have access to this program. So we at Key Mortgage do. We are an approved lender for this Cook County down payment assistance program. And this is a fantastic new program to help home ownership, right? So the main qualifications are that your credit score has to be above 640. And there is an income cap limit. So you have to earn less than 142,000. Don't quote me exactly on that, but right around 142,000. So if your score is above 640 and you earn less than 142, you are eligible for up to $25,000 or 5% of the purchase price to help cover your down payment and closing costs. Phenomenal program. Don't have to be a first-time buyer. And this money is a forgivable loan. So what it means is that it turns into a completely forgiven grant over a period of 5 years. So let's just say, for example, on a $330,000 house, the up to 5% is about $16,000. So I have a client that's going to use this program. So if she gets the $16,000 and she decides to move or refinance after 2.5 years, half the time, she would owe back $8,000. If she stays there for 5 years and doesn't refinance, it's completely forgiven. $16,000 is just
$16,000 in your pocket.
Yes.
Well, that's really exciting.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
they have to continue to live in the property, or can they turn it into investment income?
No, I mean, it's designed for primary residence. So I have not, this is a new program. I haven't seen the documents, but I can pretty much guarantee that you're signing a document stating that this will be your primary residence. Right? This is not
For the 5 years.
Yeah.
For the 5 years.
Yeah.
But
Right.
then, wow. I mean, it's wonderful.
Hello. This is fantastic.
Yes, I know. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
It's great.
It's not unlimited. You were, I think, Angie.
Well, yes, it's a funded grant program. So, obviously, in all of these programs, they will run out of money, but then they're usually refunded. So it's not going to be the kind of program that it runs out and it's gone. It just may take a while for them to get to be refunded. So right now, and obviously this is Cook County, so the property has to be in Cook County. And I believe it's, $3 million is where the funding, where it started. So
you can be moving to Cook County from a job transfer. You can be moving to Cook County.
Yes.
It's not a positive thing for getting people to choose Cook County.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Very, very exciting. So interest rates lower, home ownership eligibility programs are there. And I think that with the lower interest rates, we're going to have more inventory. Of course, we're going to have more buyers too, but let's hope that it starts to balance out, because we've not been very balanced in our markets, as you guys know.
Right.
No, it's it would be really exciting, because buyers really need this.
Yes.
They really need to have more to choose from.
Exactly. Okay. And Kyle, I know you had asked me about what's going on in my world in terms of, am I busy? Am I doing applications? And what kind of clients am I seeing? So, which is a great way, right, to gauge kind of what's coming down the pipeline, is how many pre-approvals. So I would say, I've been pretty steady. I maybe in the last week, it's dropped off a little bit, but I would say that I've been pretty steady. I'm having, a better year than last year. So, I mean, we're just continuing to, help the buyers. And so I don't feel a big drop off, and I don't anticipate that I'm going to have a big drop off. I think if anything, I'm going to probably blow up between refinances and new purchases. So
you also would recommend, if somebody's thinking about jumping in, get to you sooner rather than later to get their pre-approval done.
100%. It's never too early. I mean, never too early. Yep. Because, and that's why I'm also going back to clients who they couldn't find anything, or they were, based on the interest rate. I mean, I'm going back and looking at some of the people that I ran at 7.875, and that's where their rate was. And I'm going back to them and having conversations, because now they can look in a higher price point.
Right.
Literally, or they can, they can handle a higher HOA. When I, told them before, you can't, you're tight and you can't move unless the HOAs are under $300. And they're like, well, I can't find that. Well, guess what? Now you can afford, 500, HOAs, or 600. So that's good news.
That is really good news. Really good.
All right. Well, we're going to have you on regularly over the next few months to keep us posted, because I anticipate things are going to change, and we need to stay on top of it all. So
yes.
Carol Ann Bozarth, everybody, you'll be able to see her information below. Please reach out to her if you have questions about financing, refinancing, and any other first-time buyer questions, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right. So now we're going to say goodbye momentarily to Carol Ann. Bye. And we're going to bring on, okay. You know what time of the year it is, everybody?
It's my stepfather's favorite time of year.
It is football season.
Football
So-
season. Okay.
And so we thought we would do a little piece on how and where to live.
Living right around the corner from Soldier Field.
So
So
on the map here, you can see in the far right where it's green, the football for Soldier Field. And I thought I'd just bring up a map quick before, Kyle, you show everybody where you can live. But this is the South Loop. South Loop is a great place to be. You're close to the museum campus. You can see all the highways that connect you throughout Chicagoland from this area. You've got the lakefront, Northerly Island, fabulous place. And then this is even closer. You can see again the orange football, and this is the South Loop. So now I'm going to turn it over to you.
So all of this, people, has been developed in about the last 30 years. I mean, really. So first of all, isn't that a great picture of the alien spacecraft that is Soldier Field?
Yeah.
Who would want to leave this? Go Bears.
Go Bears.
So I have for you 3 interesting properties. So the first is 1530 South State Street, and it's unit 14S, and it is on the market for $475,000. It was bought a couple of years ago for $505,000, and it is an extraordinarily beautiful unit with a great view, not of Soldier Field, but of the skyline. 78 you'll be able to see, and which is that new neighborhood that's coming along. But it's just this
the 78
off, like, and I've got a floor plan. But it's
look, you can see the Sears Tower. How awesome is that?
Skyline.
Do you know the history of this building, right, Kyle?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the history of this building?
Tell me.
It used to be like a frozen building for Beatrice Foods, and the train would come right through the center. Here, let me get my hand up. Excuse me. Right through the center of the building. So then what they did was they thawed the building out. Then they added, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 stories on top of the original building. And then there are units in the middle of the building where the train came through, and those are extra wide units and very cool. So yeah, you can see the top of that. That's what was added on.
Wow.
It is such a great building. I am a huge fan of this building, but look at those windows, and lofty, but solid.
Yes. And beautiful views. And, it's a very sustainable building because they reused it. I mean, so here is a floor plan of the unit. So it's got the main bedroom here, second bedroom behind the kitchen, but all this light, and it faces south and west. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Oh, a corner. That's lovely. Very nice.
And so this one is a townhouse, sort of a little bit, so just a little bit east of that building, 1530. So this is also on 1500 South, but it's a cute townhouse development. So this is on the market for, let me go back, $1.75 million, and it is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and it's only 2,900 square feet. The other one was almost was a little over 1,500 square feet, but it's in perfect shape.
Lovely, yeah.
Really pretty, very light. It's got this pretty outdoor space. It's got this basement. They did not selfishly give me a floor plan, so I cannot share it with you.
Oh,
I know, but it's got outdoor space. It's just west of State Street on 15th Street, and a nice little walk from
Soldier Field.
Very cool. Let's do this one, 1600 South Prairie, so just 1 block further south.
Ooh, that's not inexpensive for that neighborhood.
No.
You're going to wow us, aren't you? At that price, you better wow us.
So there's overlooking Soldier Field, people.
Very cool.
And this is their private balcony. So this is, it's really a 3-bedroom apartment, but they have turned it into 2 bedrooms. So 2/3 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. and it
Wow.
is 3,400 square feet, but there's also a secret. So, I mean, this is a corner. I would put a lounge chair there. Just
Yeah.
really in space.
Well, you know what? I have clients who have lived close like this at 1629 South Prairie, and they sit on their balcony and they could hear the concerts there.
Absolutely.
And they loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So that is a close walk to Soldier Field there.
That is just getting yourself over the highway.
Yeah.
Or under the highway, or however they do it there. But really, it's a sort of a great unit.
That's pretty.
It is. It also has 3,000 square feet of roof rights.
Oh,
So
wow.
you could turn this into your private garden. You could do
Oh my gosh.
hot tub up here. You can do anything. This is its private garden.
Oh, the potential people.
That's why it's so expensive.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, and then I'm looking at this. That must be looking north. Yeah, because you can see
it
the
looks all different ways. That picture is north.
Yeah.
But
Oh, the
it's
views north out of this building are spectacular. Yeah.
You can set up your own little bleachers over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. Like you've seen what do you call them? The houses that used to overlook Wrigley Field that they're now tearing down. I understand. This could be your own private, rooftop overlooking Soldier Field. Would be awesome. I
Awesome.
love it.
Well, that's all I've got.
Oh, that's great stuff. I
Yeah.
love, love, love it. Okay. Well, it's so good to see you. We haven't had a show in a few weeks, so it's fun to be back.
Yeah, it is good to be back. I look forward to hearing what the Fed decides to do, and I look really forward to seeing what happens with mortgage rates. Whether they come down, whether they blip up for a minute and then come down. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. It's going to be a great fall. Everybody, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our show on your YouTube channel. Follow us on our social media. And Kyle and I will see you next week here on Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Dan.